European leaders arrived in Paris for security talks Monday, as concerns grow over U.S. President Donald Trump's approach to ending Russia's war against Ukraine. According to Assosicted press, French President Emmanuel Macron had a phone call with Trump just as he was about to greet key European Union nations and the United Kingdom at the Elysee Palace on Monday for an emergency meeting on how to react to the U.S. diplomatic blitz on Ukraine, which left the once rock-solid partner as a potential political liability. Macron's office would not disclose details about the discussion. Leaders of Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, Poland, Spain, the Netherlands, Denmark and the European Union are holding talks on how to deal with Europe's security quandary. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte is also attending. French officials said no firm announcements are expected to emerge beyond a show of unity from European leaders. More talks are expected at the broader EU level, they said. Last week, top U.S. officials from the Trump administration made their first visit to Europe, leaving the impression that Washington was ready to embrace the Kremlin while it cold-shouldered many of its age-old European allies. Despite belligerent warnings for months ahead of Trump's re-election as U.S. president, EU leaders publicly ignored the ominous forebodings, hoping somehow that Trump would stand shoulder to shoulder with Europe while the continent would finally start to beef up its defenses and become less reliant on American firepower. But a flurry of speeches by Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth last week questioned both Europe's security commitments and its fundamental democratic principles. Macron said their stinging rebukes and threats of non-cooperation in the face of military danger felt like a shock to the system. The tipping point came when Trump decided to upend years of U.S. policy by holding talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin in hopes of ending the Russia-Ukraine war. Then, Trump's special envoy for Ukraine and Russia on Saturday all but ruled out the inclusion of other Europeans in any Ukraine peace talks. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in the Saudi capital of Riyadh on Monday after his trip to Israel. According to Associated Press, Rubio is leading a delegation to Saudi Arabia for direct talks with Russian officials in the coming days to seek an end to Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, a U.S. official said Sunday. Also expected to take part in the talks in Riyadh about Russia's February 2022 invasion is National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, according to the official, who was not authorized to discuss the talks and spoke on the condition of anonymity. The official added that what the administration sees as early-stage negotiations remain fluid and who ultimately ends up at the table for the anticipated talks could change. The trip follows last week's telephone call between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, in which Trump said they agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately. It wasn't immediately clear if any Ukrainians would take part in the talks. A Ukrainian delegation is in Saudi Arabia to pave the way for a possible visit by Zelensky, a Ukrainian official said. Rubio's trip to Saudi Arabia follows a visit to Israel, where he discussed with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to transfer the Palestinian population out of Gaza. Palestinians and Arab states have rejected it.